The home side, Perth Glory, looking to continue their unbeaten run at home this season, at their temporary home at that, Macedonia Park, against a Sydney FC side, the mighty Sydney FC, who've won just 2 of their last 7. 5 defeats in that time for Steve Corica's side. Let's take a look at Ruben Zadkovic's Perth Glory side then, looking for 3 wins on the trot here at home. Defence has been key to their upturn in form, but it's up front where goals have been hard to come by. We were expecting new signing Adam Taggart, the Socceroo, to be available, but a quad strain picked up this week sees him sidelined for another week or 2. Adam Zimmerino has moved to the bench. Ryan Williams has moved up front. John Katrumbas to right wing back, which leaves a hole in the centre of defence to be filled by Jacob Muir, the youngster who comes back in there. In the middle of the park, Luke Bodner alongside Mustafa Amini and Keegan Jelicic. Pressure is very much on Steve Corica. He's made 3 changes from the side that endured that incredible 1-0 loss last time out to the Wellington Phoenix with those 2 injury time penalties. That was their 5th loss in 7. 2 of those 3 changes are in force. Jack Rodwell, he failed a late fitness test having travelled to Perth for the game. His groin keeping him out, so Aaron Gerd returns in the centre of defence. Luke Bratton has recovered from illness. He comes in for Patrick Yazbek, who is following concussion protocol. And Joe Lolly, the Englishman, returns from suspension with Paolo Retre heading to the bench. Man of the moment, Adam Lafondra. Sydney FC get us underway. The pressure, all told, in their last outing against Wellington Phoenix with that remarkable, logic-defying 1-0 defeat in the final seconds at home to Wellington Phoenix. They're back on the road and perhaps looking for some joy away from home against a Perth Glory side. Greyskill looking to make it 3 from 3 at home in this temporary home, if you like, Macedonia Park, but a home that is providing much cheer for them so far.
Well, it certainly is, Robbie, and a big outing, a big afternoon for Sydney FC. I feel as though we've said that a few times in recent weeks for Sydney. A big game, a big moment too. Joe Lolly, important to have back in this side. But of course frustrating for Steve Corica to have the likes of Jack Rodwell available for this afternoon.
And again, just that 1 clean sheet. After the 2-0 victory over Newcastle 2 weeks ago, there was thought Rodwell returning would mean solidity, consistency at the back. It didn't last long and he's sidelined again. He's played just 3 matches this season, Jack Rodwell. The game against Wellington, his first 90 minutes of the campaign. And it's the youngster Aaron Gerd, who's a very promising player and has had some fine matches as well this season. But he is just a youngster at 21 years of age. Here's Donachie. Ball played forward but turned over immediately. Beavers with Clisby. Looking for Ryan Williams, who's played most of this season either at right wing back or right midfield. He's up front. Here's Lafondra. Closed down by Latchman. Lafondra's cross is a great one towards Robert Mack. They're queuing up. It's hit on the volley. And good, strong hands. It was Caballo, the Spanish left back, looking for his first goal for Sydney.
Well, it's the first real test there for the youngster Cameron Cook in between the sticks this afternoon.
Ryan Grant, who's also played every single minute of the season so far, as has Daryl Latchman for Perth and Andrew Redmayne, the Sydney keeper. Oh, as they've been robbed in midfield here. Cheap turnover. Lolly got it onto his left foot. They've stood off the shot, and it's in from Joe Lolly. He's missed the last 2 games with suspension, and Sydney missed him. And it's taken him just 5 minutes on the dot to open the scoring in the West.
Well, a big welcome back there to Joe Lolly, and wouldn't Steve Corica be pleased with that one after his suspension, welcoming him back to the sky blue shirts as we have a look here on the Harvey Norman replay. And You're right, Robbie. Everyone stood off too much, allowed Lolly too much space and time to get up on his favoured left foot. He has struck that really sweetly, and Cameron Cook, frustration had his defensive players there, but a beautiful strike from Lolly.
Well, no one went out to him. Mustiamini was coming back, but take nothing away from that finish. It is pinpoint from outside the box. He's Sydney FC's longest ever serving coach, Steve Corica, having overtaken a certain Graham Arnold at the start of this season. He's probably never been under as much pressure as he is now, even if last season was not great by his own high standards. Here's Muir. As Perth look to come forward again. Amini, who was at Sydney FC last season. Great switch of play. Clisby crosses, back post, Katrumbas saved, and then off Aaron Gerd, and saved again by Redmayne, who may have hurt himself in the process.
That's better from Perth, though. Much better build-up. Switch from Amini. And he created the space, and across two from Katrumbas, pinpoint. Redmayne looks to have come down a bit hard on that ankle there, and he's made a good save in that passage of play too. But this switch here really relieved any kind of traffic in the middle of the park for Perth, and what a touch. Beautiful delivery too, and really well saved, gotten across there from Redmayne.
Muir couldn't find Katrumbas. Max done well, and oh, Burgess was away there. And that's going to be a first booking of this contest for Jacob Muir. 25 minutes gone.
He's just so effective with the ball at his feet is Max Burgess.
Now Caballo for Caceres, who spotted the space. Caballo's cross is a good one into the danger zone, back post, and Ryan Grant has added goal number 2. And Sydney FC sweeping all their troubles away with 26 minutes of attacking football here in Perth.
Well, how about this delivery in from Caballo? Beautiful shape, beautiful whip on the Harvey Norman replay, and Ryan Grant positioning just there, right place, right time, and just looks at the ball ripple into the back of the net. Sydney FC flying.
Well, poor old Cam Cook. Nothing he could do about that, a simple finish. Ryan Grant almost bashful with the ease at which he could pass that ball into the back of the net. We've hardly seen Perth as an attacking force, to see how they're lining up front really, and they've been dispossessed again here. Katrumbas coming off second best against Robert Mack. Mack's pass is a lovely one for Burgess. It could be 3 off the crossbar. And Clisby clears. Well, Max Burgess, we say it every week, how does he not have more goals to his name? And there's no better illustration than right there.
Oh, that's a beautiful delivery outside of the right boot there from Robert Mack. And Max Burgess, he will be so frustrated with that one. Had so much net, so much frame of the goal to aim at. Hands to the head immediately.
They just haven't been able to strike this term. 4 minutes of stoppage time. Here's Muir. Goal before half-time would be very, very precious indeed for Perth. They'll have a corner. Here it comes. Oh, the header! Ooh. And I thought that was in for a moment, as it just rippled down the side. It looked to have taken a touch off someone on the way through as well. Referee Alex King gives a corner.
Yeah, that one did look like it had snuck in on the inside post there and rippled the back of the net. Just on the outside though.
It's Bratton that got the final touch. And now Perth going to just claw away back into this contest before the break. In it comes Jelicic, good delivery. Lafondra with a good header away. Amini for Katrumbas. Back for Amini. Thought about the first time cross. Didn't fancy it. Williams, he chips it back post. Lolly's head up, gets just enough on it. Then he leads the charge forward. And it's a good tackle as well. Nobody was prepared to follow it up for Sydney and release as the numbers all went streaming forward. Yeah, and it's Lolly that has it back again, only to give it away. Can Perth take advantage of a couple of lapses in concentration? 40 seconds left in this first half. Beavers for Clisby. Time and space. The cross in. The header from Donachie. Now Lafondra. Grant on the charge. Only Burgess in the middle. And they take the pace out of it all the way back to Donachie and Gerd.
That's thankless running there from Ryan Grant. Without that movement forward, there's no release for Sydney FC there, and it's those kind of small details that can really give a side momentum.
The half-time whistle, bringing some respite for a beleaguered Perth Glory. They have been outplayed for the majority of this opening 45 minutes. And Sydney FC, who went ahead, the perfect start after 5 minutes through Joe Lolly, before Ryan Grant added a second just before the half hour. It's a deserved lead for the visitors, Sydney FC at Macedonia Park. They lead Perth Glory by 2-0. Welcome back to Macedonia Park, where desperate times call for desperate measures. 3 changes from Ruben Zadkovic to his side at the start of this second half. It is the home side chasing the game. They trail by 2-0. Sydney FC looking to get back to the winner's circle. They've impressed in the opening 45 minutes, and a lackluster, beleaguered Perth side outplayed from pillar to post in that opening 45. Ruben Zadkovic has brought on David Williams and Adam Zimmerino in attack. Zach Duncan comes in midfield as well, and I suspect we'll have a look at it as the game goes on. Grace Gilbert, probably a change in formation as well. They need to go on the front foot here.
Important changes, host of changes there, fresh energy.
And it comes, ball near post, the header, and they're back into the game. Just 47 seconds into the second half, and it's Zach Duncan, one of those half-time substitutes, who has made the difference. His first A-League goal since returning to the competition from a spell in Denmark. And what a moment to do it.
Well, what an introduction to this game. Just touching on fresh energy, a host of changes needing to be made by Ruben Zadkovic, and Zach Duncan, surely in what was his first touch of the game, a beautiful header. He's come up to meet that really well, risen above the rest, nodded that home into the near post. That is a very well taken header there by Duncan.
It was the ideal start for Ruben Zadkovic. He couldn't have hoped for anything better for this second half. Oh, as it's turned over cheaply. The little 1-2 with Williams. Jelicic has done brilliantly. And Zimmerino was waiting at the back post, but he needed it chipped that way. Always more good pressure. Williams wins it back for Williams, who tries to curl it.
This is the exact pressure that we're talking about from Perth Glory. Jelicic just putting on the afterburners and giving us a glimpse of how quick he really is with the ball at his feet. And does well to get down low there and collect. But Perth Glory, these substitutions have certainly made a difference.
Completes the clearance. Back to Caballo again. Another good ball into that danger zone and another corner, and all of a sudden Perth have to be careful because it's a number of set pieces where they're being pegged back at the moment.
That aerial delivery, though, when you've got the likes of Beavers, Latchman in there, it's going to have to be a pretty precious ball.
Back, ball in, glancing header! And saved only just by Cam Cook. Daryl Latchman, so close to an own goal.
And Cook had to be alert to the danger. He's gotten down really well for that. Latchman, all he could do was stand stuck to the spot, and look at Cook come into flight.
Williams wins it back. David to Ryan. Back to David. First name basis for those two now, and they're passing to each other like that, I think. As we've lost a bit of lighting to the delight of the crowd. There it is. You can see the light tower. Immediately Perth players. Now that's one of the extra light towers that have been added here. In fact, it's a whole bank of lighting towers that have been added here to bring it up to standard. Alex King just chatting to Anthony Caceres there and saying we're good to go. And we are back underway, so by my reckoning, that's just under a 10-minute stoppage. So we can expect 10 minutes of added time at the end of this one as well. Nice touch, Caceres. Caceres still going. He's so hard to dispossess. Oh, and Sean Cook with a miraculous save right on the goal line, just when it looked as though Sydney had to score the third. Well, it was almost another comical own goal. Well played, Caceres, but still.
Cook has done so well there, really fast feet. To just absolutely fling himself back to get a hand and scoop that one out.
And now the cut back. Robert Mack. Can he find a shooting opportunity? Still! Behind it goes. Cook not called upon on this occasion, but let's have another look at that save, can we? Joe Lolly was bearing down on goal. He must have thought number 2 was on its way.
Look at the ability for Cook to dive backwards, get a hand around that ball, scoop it out. It's a really big moment for him.
As here comes Lolly in a bit of space. Beavers comes across to track him. Clisby drops into the middle. As Lolly hits it! Great stop, Cook again. Flying away to the right and a strong palm. Turns it behind for a corner. Oh, and that's not a good sign.
Not at all, they're concerning. Joe Lolly, I wonder if that one had sailed into the back of the net, if he'd been motioning for the substitution. It's a good save from Cam Cook again, a strong paw. He's gotten out to that one.
I don't think he's injured. I just saw him trying to stretch out both hammies, so maybe just a bit of fatigue, having not played for a couple of weeks, plus the 5-hour trip. Back post, Latchman's header is a good one. Amini under pressure, it might yet fall for Lolly. It's on his left. Katrumbas heads it clear. Caballo back in. Pressure for Perth to try and absorb. First driven in by Grant and then by Bratton. 14 minutes of added time has begun. And it's another very exciting youngster coming into the game, Jaden Kucharski. Starred for Sydney's NPL side last season. Beavers fouled. Another set piece. Who's going to take it? It's going to be Zach Duncan who comes across. In fact, it's Jacob Dowse who could take it quickly with Jelicic. The cutback cleared by Retre. Dowse back in, back post, volleyed across from David Williams and saved by Redmayne. They just have been sneaking inside the far post. Ford with Katrumbas, now Latchman. Space for Dowse. The cross in is a good one. Oh, just wide. As David Williams threw himself at the ball, hoping to get the blessed touch. Instead, it rolls agonizingly the wrong side of the post.
Well, the delivery was pinpoint. It's a golden opportunity for Perth there. David Williams just couldn't manage to steer that one goalward.
Katrumbas back to Cook. Is there a grandstand finish in this one? Fantastic pass from Latchman. Dowse, the ball in! And a bullet header from David Williams. And Perth have pulled it out of the fire. And Sydney players drop to the ground in despair. Well, it flew off his head like a volley. And Perth are all level in the final seconds. It's 2-2.
What a delivery. What a ball from the back, Latchman. The weight behind that pass, perfect. In the dying moments of this game, Perth Glory have done it. Equalised in front of a very happy home crowd at Macedonia Park, and look what that means to them. But a beautiful, beautiful finish. Again, the delivery from Dowse has been excellent tonight since he's come on, and that is a thumping finish from Williams. What a way to equalise.
The first assist in A-League football for Jacob Dowse in just his 6th appearance. And a second Perth Glory goal for David Williams. The point will see no changes in the league table for these two sides, just a point closer to the 6, as that's how it ends. Another thrilling night at Macedonia Park as Perth Glory make it 5 without defeat at their home away from home. David Williams with the equaliser in the 114th minute. Lights went out on Sydney's game in the second half. They led by 2 goals to nothing at the break. It could so easily have been more. Max Burgess hit the crossbar, but changes, bold changes at half-time from Ruben Zadkovic paid dividends. Perth came back, and Perth equalised at the death. Finished at Macedonia Park. Glory 2, Sydney FC 2.